Oh, sorry. I can't stop eating this. This is the traditional cinnamon roll, and that is just getting us started. We have got a chocolate one, a lemon blueberry one, and a scrumptious cranberry orange one. You are going to want to stick around to see the rest of these cinnamon rolls.
Okay, let's get going. Grab your mixing bowl. I'm going to use my trusty stand mixer for this, but you can totally do this by hand if you feel like working out those arm muscles today. In goes the sugar and the salt and the butter. Now, turn the mixer to high, let it go until everything is nice and creamy. Next, crack your egg in and add lemon zest. Seriously, the lemon zest makes this great. All right, it's time to add the warm milk. And just a heads up, you want that milk to be somewhere between 120 and 130 degrees. Add the yeast and let that mix for a minute. Now it's time to add the flour. Making a little mess here. Oh, if you're using active yeast instead of instant, there's a little extra step for you. You'll need to let the yeast sit in the lukewarm milk with about 1 tablespoon of sugar for about 5 minutes. It's like waking up your yeast. Watch for the bubbles and the little foam on the surface, and you'll know that it is ready. When the dough is come together, it's time to switch over to the dough hook. And this is where things get serious. You're going to crank up the speed to medium high and let it mix for about 6 minutes. You can do this by hand, but you'll probably have to go a little bit longer than 6 minutes. Okay, what we're aiming here for is a dough that's supple, it's tacky to the touch, it should pass through the infamous window pane test. When this happens, you are done. You're just going to need to get a large bowl, lightly oil it, pop the dough in there, and give it a nice roll around so it's fully coated in the oil. Cover it with a towel or some plastic wrap, set it aside, and let it rise for about 1.5 to 2 hours or until it doubles in size. I keep my house kind of cold, so a lot of times things don't rise as well. So a tip here is if you have a warm, humid day, you can put your dough outside, and there's nothing like sun to give something a little boost. Once your dough has doubled in size, it's time to move it to the work surface. You can either oil or lightly flour the countertop, or you can use a silicone mat if you have one handy. I gently roll the dough with a lightly dusted rolling pin so it doesn't stick. You need a rectangle about 14 inches wide to 12 inches long, and it's going to be about 2/3 or so of an inch thick. This size makes for nice big rolls, especially if you roll the short side up instead of the long side. Don't try to roll the dough too thin. If you do, you're going to end up with a tough, chewy bun, and nobody likes that. Now for the fun part. Now it's time to start these amazing fillings. For the traditional roll filling, I added 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, 2 tablespoons of flour, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt to a bowl. In a separate bowl, I mixed a 1/2 cup of softened butter that was almost melted to 1.5 cups of brown sugar. I added the dry ingredients to the wet ones and mixed them very well. Once incorporated, spread the filling evenly over the rolled out dough. All right, it's time to spread the filling out on the dough. I'm going to leave about an 1/8 inch parameter around the edge so it doesn't ooze out everywhere. I like nuts, so I'm spreading some nuts on here, and I'm going to roll this up like a big, delicious cinnamon-filled cigar. Really, I've never rolled a cigar, so I don't know, but this is how I'd do it if I did. You might want to grab a pastry scraper to help you with this part, and if you're using a silicone mat, use it to guide the rolling. All right, just roll it up. The ends are going to look a little wonky. It's okay. Trim them off, and you've got yourself a mini roll for snacking. To cut your rolls, you can use twine, or you can go pro level like me and use tooth floss. Yep, that's right. Floss makes for the perfect clean slice. Preheat the oven to 350 and cook for about 20 to 30 minutes. While they're in the oven, let's whip up some cream cheese frosting. In a stand mixer, beat together the cream cheese and butter on medium speed until it is super light and fluffy, and then slowly add in the powdered sugar while the mixture is on low. This keeps the sugar from going everywhere, and it is going to be delicious, y'all. I'm already starting to salivate. Now, I don't mess around with frosting. This recipe makes plenty because, honestly, a cinnamon roll deserves a lot of frosting. Am I right? But hey, if you're like a lighter layer, feel free to just cut the recipe in half. Once the rolls have cooled for about 10 minutes, you're going to slather that frosting on. Oh my gosh, this is to die for. Now let's make the blueberry lemon cinnamon roll filling. Okay, so this sweet roll right here, this one is hands down my most requested recipe. It's even giving my chocolate cinnamon roll a serious run for its money. And let me tell you, that's saying something. All right, let's jump right in. Grab a small saucepan and toss in your blueberries. You can use frozen or fresh, totally up to you. Then add sugar, cornstarch, lemon juice, and of course, a little lemon zest. If you're using frozen berries, just keep in mind it might take a couple extra minutes. Oh, and make sure you keep stirring so it doesn't stick to the bottom. Now, once the blueberries start getting juicy, I grab my trusty potato masher and go to town mashing those blueberries down to create a nice, thick, spreadable consistency. This is going to take about 3 to 5 minutes. You'll know when it's ready when it sticks to the back of your spoon. Once it's thickened, you're going to remove it from the heat, stir in a little bit more lemon zest, and set it aside to cool for about 7 to 10 minutes. Now it's time to roll the dough out and spread that gorgeous blueberry filling all over. Roll the dough up just like you would a cigar. Not that I roll cigars, but you get the idea. Slice it up and pop them in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. While the rolls bake, it's frosting time. We're making a lemon cream cheese frosting that is super simple, but it really makes these rolls sing. I'm going to start by beating together some cream cheese, butter, and a little bit of lemon juice in my stand mixer on medium speed until they are nice and fluffy. Then I'm going to slowly add the sifted powdered sugar while mixing it on low. Once everything is well blended and fluffy, toss in a little lemon zest for that extra zing. Once the rolls have cooled for about 10 minutes, slather on that frosting. Don't be shy with it. These rolls are begging for a generous layer. I like to add extra lemon zest on the top. I think it's pretty, and it also amps up the bright lemony flavor we all love. And there you have it, my most requested sweet roll, perfectly gooey with that dreamy lemon blueberry combo. You're going to love these. Now I'm going to make a batch of cinnamon rolls with 2 fillings. The first filling is our cranberry orange filling. I'm adding fresh cranberries, or you can use frozen, either one is fine, into a saucepan over medium heat. I'm going to add orange juice, sugar, salt, cornstarch, and I'm going to stir until the cranberries release their juices. I help to break them up a little bit by using a potato masher, just like I did with the blueberry filling. This can take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. You will know that it's ready when you have kind of like a jam consistency. And man, this reddish hue is so rich and vibrant. It's going to be beautiful in these rolls. Now that the cranberry filling is made, let's make the chocolate filling for the other half of the rolls. For the chocolate filling, grab a small bowl and mix the butter, brown sugar, cocoa, cinnamon, and vanilla all together. It'll make a spreadable consistency that seems a little gritty, but don't worry, it'll cook smooth and yummy in the oven. I find it easiest to use a spatula for this. It is so delicious. Now flour the surface and roll out the dough. Spread the chocolate mixture on 1/2 of the short side of the dough, and then add chocolate morsels and pecans. Roll the dough long ways and slice with the floss like I do, and place in a buttered pan. Allow it to rise until they're about doubled in size, and then bake until they're golden, about 20 minutes. Meanwhile, we're going to prepare the frostings. First up is the orange glaze. Simply add the sifted powdered sugar in a bowl with the orange zest and the orange juice and whisk until you reach a blended, drizzly consistency. Drizzle this orange glaze all over the warm rolls. Oh my gosh. You can top them with toasted almonds if you like. I do that in a little bit. But look at how gooey and delicious these look. I made this espresso icing by warming the heavy cream on the stovetop and whisking in the espresso powder. I transferred it to a bowl, and then I'm going to whisk in powdered sugar and vanilla. Drizzle the icing all over the top of these warm rolls and plate it up. Can you even believe how great these look? Okay, let's make them extra special by shaving some chocolate over the top and adding powdered sugar and pecans to the top of that. Could this even be better? Look at all these rolls. Man, am I going to be making people happy tonight.
So don't just scroll on by. Get the recipes below. These are worth it. Subscribe to get more videos like this, and I hope to see you next time.